Okay, third time because my internet connection got out. I'm in the middle of a lot of things. I actually don't know what fires and what storms I have to put out. Maybe because no one's telling me. So how am I supposed to put out something that no one is telling me? There, I know I see a lot of subliminal messages and hinting at things, but I literally do not know what's real or not. Now, this doesn't mean or say that I am someone who isn't a positive person to society, because I do like to focus on the positive, but I also can't ignore the negatives. I just wanted, I never intended on following the fluff of being someone like myself. I'm black. I have quote unquote white interest, which, if you really look at history, nothing is white. It's all been influenced by black history. It's the God honest truth. Is it wrong of me wanting to exercise my right of speaking and just speaking about my experience when I have no intention of even wanting to start anything? I just wanted to share. Why is me being alive, or why is my whatever I just have to say, my what is it, my ignorant sayings? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really of this world. When, like, no, I'm not the most polished. I can be through positive reinforcement. I was born and raised in Miami. I went to Miami Central, went to Parkway Middle. I grew up in the Baptist church. I even got myself baptized at 12. I was the only one of my siblings who really focused on education. Because for me, like most of us, education was our way out. While others focused on football and things, education was our way out, my way out. But I didn't have anyone around me to, I've been in, organizations, things like that. I've participated in leadership organizations, but I didn't have the confidence. Why would I? Everybody knows about the plight of being the first daughter and dealing with that. Everybody knows about the spiritual warfare and the attacks. Everybody knows about that. Did you know that you can actually search online and hear people talk about these experiences? And that's the reason why I'm not afraid to talk about it, because I've searched and I've seen people literally talk about it, either recording content about talking about it, or you go to Reddit. Reddit is a way to do that. Research things online to find experiences that we've experienced, but in a way that creates our own bubble, our own world. I know I'm in a bubble. Education was my bubble from the real world. Being in a relationship was my bubble from the real world. I'm black, so I'm not supposed to cry. I'm a black woman, So I'm supposed to be strong. I'm from Miami, so I gotta be hard. Or I'm just soft. Anyone could just jump me any minute while I'm down the street. But yeah, I walk around. There was this one lyric from Young Miami. I forgot what song it was. Let me look because I actually have. Uh, no, I have a document on my Google Docs called "Lyrics to Remind You Who You Are." This thing says, "I am a kind, beautiful, powerful woman in her own right. I like being in positive, motivating environments to help me grow, blah, 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 bullshit, blah, blah, blah. The entrepreneurship path is not the easy path, and you may have to, yeah, I already know about getting a job because that's even a hard thing in general. But let me go to this lyric. So we got Female Go by Lakia. I'm moving no mace. Oh, yeah, this is the Miami lyric, Miami lyric I was talking about. I'm moving no mace, trying to put her in a brace. Bitches Miami, I'ma always make a shake. Bitches think they slime, then we both gonna be snakes. No. Of course, because they like to pit us together. I get it. I mean, that's just the reality of it. It's better to see two people that look like each other fight against it than, because it's entertainment. Am I wrong for saying that? I mean, I have a advertising background. I do have digital literacy somewhat. I may not put my words and say things eloquently like others do, but I somehow get my message across. Honestly, most of the times, I don't know what my message is. I just say what's out of my mouth. Is that foolish? Yes, it is. One thing that another lyric that speaks to me is woke up this morning and found my peace of mind. Yeah, I know I'm not. I'm pretty much in my falling season. And I know that others probably deem these videos as me complaining. But there was one video that I watched from this other girl where, or I just seen comments where people are saying that, like, we showing up online and showing every emotion, not every emotion in time, but every facet or just certain things about my journey. It shows that I am imperfectly perfect, that my story is a story that other people go through. That I've been going the unconventional way of employment or whatever this success is for me. That my untapped potential can lead a lot of places. And when I do focus, it's not that I will be unstoppable. I'm already am unstoppable. And that it scares a lot of people. It scares me the most. I know there's a price on me, but I will say so far, in my experiences, especially in blockchain, because I got into it 2023. And like I said before, I'm not an expert at this. I was like, for me, it was more like, hey, this is blockchain. I can see where this is going. I want to tell people about it. Now I probably got industry leaders who are actual industry leaders mad at me or whatever. Like, who the hell is this girl? She just new coming on scene, tearing shit up. She don't know what she's talking about. She's foolish. She can't represent us. Off for her head. Or something like that. Something along those lines, maybe. Or it could just be in my head, but who knows? Or is it the fact that, I don't know, I had the foresight and I saw opportunity and I took it. Now I know that not every opportunity is to be taken, especially with my recent trip to the last conference that I went to, which is ETH Denver, in which I had an experience in which I took an opportunity. Continuously taking opportunities in a vulnerable state isn't that great. I got to this point because I was adopting an abundance mindset that I had everything because I was getting tired of doubting myself because I knew of myself but I didn't really know myself. And as I kept going and I started applying myself, I got to where I got to, which is I was able to get two sponsored trips. One to join Blacks of Technology, and another one to go overseas to Turkey through Ethereum Foundation. Now, the Blacks in Technology, that I'll have to say, some people was luck when it wasn't. That was that was the first of its kind for me because I didn't believe that I belonged in that room of smart Black people. That I wasn't smart enough, but also wanted to be in rooms where I wasn't the smartest because I'm technically around people where I have to hide my intelligence, my emotional intelligence, my IQ. I have to be around people where going off your anger and destroying things and talking about, things is the norm. Where, yeah, I was just getting tired of it. Before that, it was like I was stuck in a dungeon for 5 years. You could say that was my choice, just like how Kanye kind of said slavery is the choice. You can kind of say that. But I was there. I was cooking, pretty much. And so I got up there. I went to Blacks of Technology and I shared about it. Then I also went to, like I said, I also got awarded the sponsorship to go to the Ethereum Foundation. And I used ChatGPT to manifest or get all of these things, not knowing that I'm giving information that I probably shouldn't have, but I already did. We as people, when you're on the internet, we give out information. And so I had this small idea. I was like, hey, actually, let me go back and see what I originally put. Because I sometimes, most of the times, I just do things, but it comes from a genuine place. Let me look for it. Because for me, it was like, I just want to get in the rooms and there's going to be people that's going to help me out. No, that's the learning. Because I did a lot of stuff. I kept getting the no's. And it's like the one time that I finally started getting some yes, then that's when people want to shoot me down. That's when people want to um, tell me to slow down and that I'm going to have to sacrifice things, places, family, whatever, just to get to the next level. And honestly, yeah, it could be my ego too. I am egotistical at times. I have my Kanye moments. Um, you could say I took shortcuts by using AI. Yeah, I did the big picture stuff. Oh my God. Ah, here it goes. This was my original application to the Ethereum Foundation. Now, I'm going to say for context, Ethereum Foundation probably saw, they were like, oh my gosh, look at this black chick. And she's in content creation. Because, we as black people, we excel at being entertainers. It's the truth. We do. Look at this black girl. We can use her to like market Ethereum or something like that because she's the content creator. You know what? We're going to award this content creator a scholarship. So maybe she can create some content for us. That's probably what they were thinking. Actually, I did want to do that. But I'm also an intellect. So for me, I was like, you know what? I could actually learn some great stuff, some good insights here. And so I developed an application that did just that. And I'm pretty sure they read that and they're like, oh my gosh, she bamboozled us. She lied. We wanted her to create content for us. We wanted her to tap dance. But she didn't. But we're going to give her this opportunity anyway. Because I wanted to do both. But then when I got to Instabo, because it was my first international flight, first time flying for 24 hours. And so I looked up, I was like, I don't want to get jet lag. So let me look up some stuff. I found an app that was science based or whatever, so that you don't get jet lag. It I don't remember, but it depends. It goes off of like light exposure or something like that. I took 24-hour flight to Istanbul, and I loved it. I would have loved to be able to share the full experience. But for me, because it was my first time, I was like, you know what? I kind of just want to focus on other things, actually focus on what's in store and with this blockchain stuff, because I only had a baseline understanding of it from a crypto. I mean, I knew that people saw it as a scam, but I was like, you know what? And I also had like a baseline understanding of Satoshi and how he or they or whatever the hell organization released it. So I was like, I kind of just want to understand what the technology is. We're gonna soak up this information. Um, Naturally, I just took notes. Naturally, I wanted to write about the experience. Naturally, I ran into Dan Finley. Coincidences, right? I didn't understand what I was taking in, but I was there. I don't know what expectations people have of me. I was just leading off of curiosity. And so I come back home. Actually, I'm going to look at this but yeah, I use ChatGPT to write out my explanations of what I want to do. It says, yeah, this right here is explaining me as a UX designer and a content creator specializing in Web 3. Now, I said that because there was another Black woman who was a content creator, is a content creator, I should say. But she was speaking to more developers. A lot of the stuff this is like I originally like what I originally saw was that hey, there's a lot of developer stuff here, but what about for like people who aren't in development? Like who's speaking to them? And so that was kind of like what I wanted to do. I was like, you know what? I mean, I come from a design background. I'm not the most expert in a lot of things. I just take little things and I put it together and I create something new out of it. But now you're taking it literally. Or maybe I'm not taking it literally. Maybe it's just my mind. But I'm going to continue because I'm just yapping. So I just talked about as a black woman in this tech space because I know that in anywhere that I go, social economically, as a black woman, we're typically at the bottom. But then I do also do know that because of that, there are initiatives to help out people like myself. But I also do know that people outside of the community see that as being unfair because of the extra help. I know that now. I'm not the most politically correct person. You could say I'm ignorant at most times. So I put that, throughout history, marginalized communities like mine is, when I said mine, I meant Black American, because I come from low income, Section 8, food stamps. Yeah, I've been sheltered, but I've also been privileged in the fact that we had a computer inside the home. Communities like mine have faced immense challenges due to centralized power structures. Because I knew when the little bit that I read was that the whole thing about blockchain and all this other stuff is to take over the banks and something like that. But I also remember, I don't know if this was during the time that I did this application or before, because I had joined a UX. I had joined a group of researchers that have already been in this space, and there was a discussion about like either should there be a centralized power structure, which is how things are today, or a decentralized power structure where everybody is their own boss. But the reality is, you need both. You do. I think that was kind of the thing about it. So I say Ethereum and decentralized blockchain networks offer new promise for financial access, inclusion, and empowerment worldwide. I mean, I was just following what I saw, and I know that with me being online, people are following what I do. And that is probably why there's a target on me. But I'm going to continue. My journey into the world of blockchain was sparked when I learned about the account abstraction stuff from watching that ETH Denver. Now, the wording on this, on everything that's because whenever AI, the wording on it makes it seem very, what's the word I'm looking for? Aspirational. Saying that I have an expertise. I don't have an expertise in nothing. I'm trying to cultivate and develop my skills, but I've literally just been trying stuff. That's all I've been doing. And it seems like I continuously get hate because when I try, I'm actually good at it. Like when I focus, I actually throw it out the park. And for me, that should that it doesn't. It's crazy because I know people are very competitive, but for me, I compete with myself, and that is why individuals like myself, we have to be strategic about where we are. Is it wrong of me? Do I have to die so that y'all can show, like, show an example of why you shouldn't fight against the power structures when this is literally free marketing for y'all? I'm talking about it. That's Free fucking marketing. That's probably why. I'm gonna save that for later. I'm gonna save that for later. I said my goal is to leverage my background. Now I'm looking at this, I was like, it said my goal is to leverage my background in human-centered design. I don't have a background. I'm just interested in these things. It's kind of like hey, these are the things I want to do. And then I have to go up the cloud of things. Is it wrong with me saying it out loud? Because you gotta um, do things in silence because people are haters. You got your ancestors, they're hating on the fact that a certain individual is actually pretty good at what they do instead of actually wanting to be like, huh, that is interesting. But yeah, y'all talk about representation, right? There is still so much untapped potential in blockchain technology, but I'm confident that with thoughtful design, education, community of open collaboration, you can a more equitable and empowering future. So because I said all this, what is it starting a fucking war now? Well, y'all always been at war. Y'all just don't want to say anything about it. Why is my optimism? Why do I gotta stop being optimistic about whatever it is that I like? There's a question that says, why are you interested in being a Dev Connect scholar? Anything that comes to my mouth is free marketing. Anything that anybody wears is free marketing. As someone passionate about creating easy to use blockchain experiences, yada, yada, yada. I was very it's aspirational in the beginning. And yeah, I lied a little bit. I lied a little bit. Is that why y'all try to ruin my spirit? And y'all, why y'all trying to ruin my spirit even today? Because y'all want to see people suffer. It's entertaining. I know it is. It's very entertaining. You gotta make your heart black. Go with your rage, because you're not like us. When I talk to myself, um, there was paraphrasing this, but there is a thing. Oh no. There's a lyric by Kendrick Lamar from the song Father Time where it says, you really need some therapy. Real nigga need no therapy. F you talking about. Nah, you sound stupid. Shoot, everyone is stupid. Well, you need to talk to somebody. Talk therapy doesn't really work for someone like me because I intellectualize everything. I'm literally building my story in real time, publicly. And I know that there are people who want to end this story, who want it to be on pause, who want to change the directory so I could suffer even more because of the things of this world. Because I said I hold things accountable. So you want to hold me accountable for the things that I've said, which I understand, and other things. The wise say to build in stealth mode so that you don't get distracted by things who are trying to steer you off course of your path. Because I'm in the middle of two worlds, the professional corporate world, which is all on LinkedIn, and the regular world, or somewhat of the regular world. So for me, my worlds consist of LinkedIn. So that's advertising, artsy people, creatives, more polished professionals. And then you have Twitter, X, Elon Musk, all that other stuff. Then you have, and I'm also sometimes on Reddit, and then TikTok, and then whatever I search on Google, and all this other stuff. These are things in my world. This is how we create our own world in our mind and what we believe is true. And then we go out to the world and have to deal with other people's worlds. Because I have such an optimistic viewpoint, somewhat, sometimes. Yes, I do have, actually, no, and actually do have an optimistic viewpoint of things. That makes people see me as privileged because I am privileged in certain ways. I am blessed in certain ways. I do have opportunities that other people don't have access to. There are at times in which I don't take them because, weirdly enough, oddly enough, a lot of the things that have been coming my way just doesn't feel right because I really have been focusing on resting my mind and my body and my soul. There was a lyric by Dochi. Let me see. I think I'm saying her name right. Boom bap, right here. Verse 2, where she said, I gave my soul to this, ate lumps of coal for this, went on the road for this, played humble for this. How do you know something is a secret if you've seen someone else post it, post about it? Because people are scared. Yeah, I talk in a general way that speaks to multiple people. How you think Donald Trump won? Or I would say was voted in. Make America great again. What does that actually mean? There, you can say you can spin that in many ways. You could spin my story in many ways in what I say, where I can be anywhere. I actually don't even know what's the whole point of me turning this on. Because I'm not gonna lie, I actually, you know what? I'm tired of keeping this. So um when I went to Istanbul, I gathered information from the source, and you could probably say I appropriated. Everyone appropriates things. It's kind of like people act like they're perfect, and I think that's not. I think the reason why I'm probably not in those polish rooms or whatever is because I can't. I can act. I just decide not to. I would rather be authentic, and that is why it's taking me a lot longer. That is probably why I've been indecisive because I'm sitting here worried about people wanting to kill me and wanting to off me because I may be a whistleblower. Because people may want to place things on me to make my life harder because of what they want and see out of my life and try to say what my story is. Especially since I'm named Aaliyah, I was actually named after the singer, trying to change my destiny, not understanding my reality. But what if there's power in not being understood? Why do you want to understand people so much? Realizing that people don't know how to mind their business and that people test people out. Do you know how many times I've been in rooms in which people have placed um, dollar bills and stuff just to see if I would take it? Like, really? Now, it is not to say that I don't do things like that. Granted, I'm not in a space to be able to do that right now. It's the God honest truth. But because I'm so honest, I got to be X'd out, right? I got to be taken out because I'm intimidating, right? Or is it more of you shouldn't be focused on that? Just think of the positive. And that's honestly probably no. That's actually why I haven't built because a lot of stuff I can build. I know I have to just shut up and build. I do a lot of talking. This is how I'm still processing things. Is it wrong of me to want to take my time? But honestly, at this point, I'm gonna just let it go. When I say let it go, I don't actually mean by just, oh. So I'm just go off some notes that I have on my phone. And when I say notes, I don't actually mean anything of value. It's just random thoughts. Sometimes I put the notes down, sometimes I don't. Joe Lubin told me that privacy and security are what they're trying to solve for in terms of the blockchain. That is not a secret. Privacy and security. How do you actually solve for that? I think banks, like systems of today, already solved that. But from the little bit of coding that I played around with, because I've been using AI tools for that, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder because you got to go through, you got to solve a lot of problems. I made a joke. I made a joke to someone that I met that developers are slaves. And I guess this is life's way of being like, you know what, since you say that, I'm going to show you what a slave looked like. But I'm black. I don't need to explain any more than that. This is what I was looking for. So I'm just going to go in a chronological order of things that happen. And hey, there was a quote by what is it? There is a quote. There was something that Cat Williams said about once you realize that you were just going to be an honest person and live your life as if it's the last day on earth, that is when you start living. And I haven't been living this entire year because I almost lost someone that I grew up with that influenced me. When I say lost, I meant I actually saved them. But I was trying to save someone else, but instead of saving myself, putting someone else before me, which honestly is it's a, it's I would say it's a character trait of firstborn daughters. We put people before ourselves, and that's not probably, but that's why we make good leaders. But at the same time, So I'm gonna just go down this list, and we go from here. So 2023, this is after the pandemic and everything. 2023 is when I got wind of blockchain. And so I decided to go out and start because what is it? I started to, no, this is right after my contract, my first contract with the what is it? The startup that I was working with. That was the most amount I've ever made in my life. I was making about 50. So I started out at just redesigning their website. Now I didn't know how to use Figma or none of that stuff. I just had my Photoshop skills. But I was like, you know what? I told the person on the call, I was like, you know what, I can just do it. And so I did it. I followed Nike's tagline. Just do it. Now that doesn't mean that I'm all Nike. Nike's what I grew up with. I grew up with Nike, Adidas, all that other stuff. But I used that slogan at the time to do what I needed to do. And so that's what I did. And somehow I got the contract. Then the contract ended because I started out with. Now, if you were a psychologist, you're probably like, she's rubbing her nose, she's lying. Now, back to what I was saying. I got the contract, started out with just redesigning their website, and it was experience because like I said before, it was the first time I was working with developers, international developers. They were speaking a different language than me. This wasn't the first time I was the only Black person in the room, because those experiences, when you are a Black person who is the only in the room, you come with certain challenges that someone who's gone to HBCU don't really resonate with. But hey, that's part of why it makes my experience unique. Especially when I come from a diverse place like Miami, which honestly, I knew at a young age that I was like, Miami don't want someone like me. They don't. They want someone who's a Spanish speaker. And that's not to say I can't learn Spanish. It's just that me naturally, um, it's not me being prejudiced or anything. That's just me being honest. That doesn't mean that I can't interact with people who aren't like me. I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Now, I kind of went on a tangent. So let me go back to what I was saying. Well, yeah, I was working with people who didn't look like me, who probably didn't know English, but we interacted online. This is my first time using Microsoft Teams and all that other stuff. Now, it seemed like as if there were times in which he had a project manager. I forgot what he called me. He called me something. It felt like he called me something derogative, and I was like, "What?" Looking back, maybe that was a way to test to see, is she a safe Black or not? Let me test the waters. It's the truth. Yeah, worked on that team. I was on calls. Now, because I was in that position and I didn't have any of the answers, but I also instinctively knew I was reinforcing myself that no one knows what they're doing. No one knows what they're doing. No one on this planet knows what we're doing. I was reinforcing myself with that. And that's how I empowered myself. That's how I spoke to myself, to be like, you know what, I can actually do this. And so I guess because I was making results that the CEO liked at the time, I went from just redesigning their website, which honestly, my design skills, my visual design skills, they're not that great. They're not, but I learned that I like thinking through things. I like putting out the process. I at least learned that. You can get someone else to visually design something, but if you want like a strategy or something, I could think through that. I can give my input, even though it may sound stupid, but And there were times in which they put me in a room and they asked for input, and I backed away because I was scared. Even now, with everything that's happening, y'all probably was like, she's soft. She can't do the job right. But yeah, I got the contract. I started out part time, so it was like 2,500 for 40 hours. No, like 25 hours, and then it got up to about 5,700. And I remember at the time when they asked me to be full time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to negotiate. And I asked for a bigger number. They said no. Can you meet me here? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, because at the time I was like, I did all this stuff. I've been in blah 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 blah. I've been doing design since I was 16. Yeah, I deserve this. But he was like, I don't think you're ready, but I can give you this. And I was like, you know what? Okay. It was the most I've ever gotten. 5,700. That's the most I've ever gotten. So yeah, I was feeling like I was the shit. Believe that. Well, fuck that bitch. But it fed my ego. I was feeling good. I was like, yeah. I was looking at my surroundings. I was like, this ain't for me, because I knew it ultimately wasn't for me. I extensively knew that, but then the little bit of what I the physical act of having that money, the little bit that I had, it raised it up. You know how they always say, whenever not I'm not a man, but when they say whenever a man gets into money, he shows who you really are. Yeah, shoot. Even looking back in terms of my own decisions, seems like life continuously humbles me, because it's like, Leah, I know you are very egotistical. We gotta knock you down a few notches. Living in places that I never lived before and stuff like that, just so you can understand. But yeah, I got that. I was starting to act big headed. I was, because in my mind I was like, oh, finally, I could finally stop acting like it's okay. I was like, I could finally stop acting like what I'm asking for is too much, because that's all I felt growing up. That what I wanted is too much. But in the spaces that I've been in, especially with me going to college, meeting people from other different backgrounds, experiences, who have more privileges than me, I was open to things that other people like myself typically aren't, and from where I come from, typically aren't used to, because I've seen them at it. I was close by it. So I was like, you know what? What I felt inside, it has to be true. So yeah, I learned a lot through that first contract, my first UX contract, UX UI contract. I was also learning about what exactly is this industry, because when I first got into it, all I saw was that UX UI designers or UX designers make about 80K. And I was like, you know what? Because when I first started my journey, I also knew that graphic designers weren't making that much money neither, from what I've searched up online. So I was like, maybe this is my way to making it out, to try to get to ground zero, pretty much. This is the experience all of us has gone through. So I'm just saying from my experience. Pick up your bootstraps, type thing. Then I had the contract. I rushed and I got me an apartment that I couldn't afford. And also also wasn't facing the problems that I had with him. I was being immature. I was. And because I couldn't afford that apartment, um, actually, no, I'm going off course. So, my bad for the people who are watching. We got the contract. I got it. I was acting a little bit big headed. Then we go and I was able to save. Yes, because I was just being, I was able to save pretty much. I was able to save my money and do the strategies that I've been wanting to implement in my life in terms of saving, learning, investing too, and other things of that sort. I'm just being a bit broad right now because I don't think I need to re-explain those certain aspects. So that was what, because I had that contract with Mint X. That's honestly the only contract I've had. I'm just so far because before that I had my first job, which I didn't have the confidence, and I took an internship, and then what is it? Oh, she's lying. Oh, I'm having a brain freeze. Give me a second. Brain fart, whatever you want to call it. La, 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 la. Oh no. Moving on to the after the contract. So the contract ends. I already know that the doors are still open to rejoin whenever they do, because from what I'm understanding in terms of business and startups, is you'll start something because you might be a bit too early. And I understand, trust and believe, I understand that from the outside looking in, and anyone who is not in this world, it looks like I'm very early compared to the wide public. It looks like I'm early. And so that's why the people around me are telling me to slow down. But I'm not early. I don't feel like I'm early. There are people out there who have been in this. I'm just saying, like, the stuff that I see. I don't think anything I've seen or have said has been any secret. It's just that